Hi, Lisah.
At least you play a super.
Isn't that awesome? You. Good morning. Oh, welcome. Thank you. Oh, boy.
Shall we play some blues, guys?
What's the first?
I'm in.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity on the River. Meg Rain and John Hyde are off this weekend, so we're making do in the music department, making do just fine. Oh, thank you, Shipley. And we're going to open, Cherie's going to open us up with the singing bowl.
Good morning. Let's come together this morning, join our energy and the sound of the Om. Ready? Om.
And now, please rise if you would like, and you are able. We'll open with Surely the Presence. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Take a deep breath and join me now in prayer. Surely the presence of the divine is in this place. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh, and now walks the face of the earth as us, as God. So let us open our hearts, open our minds, open our spirits, celebrate our souls, and be fully embodied in this glorious spacesuit that each one of us get when we arrive, that we say goodbye to when we leave, and that we enjoy every moment that we're here. And so it is.
Great to see everyone today. Welcome, come in, join our service. I normally try to wait till 2 or 3 after 10 so the streamers have time to get in, but now I realize everyone needs had time to get in. It's good. We're going to do a song by Kebmo called I'm Amazing. People, I need to talk to you. This might sound strange. You probably think that I'm crazy, lost my mind, well, okay. I'm amazing, I'm incredible. I'm a miracle, a dream come true. I'm marvelous, I'm beautiful, but guess what? So are you. People, it's becoming clear. I can feel it down in my soul. And I know that I am you and you are me. Oh, I'm grateful and I'm grateful for the simple things that we take for granted every day. Listen, I can walk, I can talk, I can use my mind. Okay, 'cause I'm amazing. I just heard the chorus. I'm a miracle, a dream come true. I'm marvelous, I am beautiful, but guess what? so are you. That don't mean we're better than anyone or anything. It's a call to come together and accept responsibility. I'm amazing. I'm incredible. I'm a miracle, a dream come true. I'm marvelous. I'm beautiful. Guess what? So are you. I'm amazing. I'm incredible. I'm a miracle, a dream come true. I'm marvelous. I'm beautiful. Guess what? So are you. You're doing it so great. Let's do it again. I'm amazing. I am incredible. I'm a miracle, a dream come true. I'm marvelous. I am beautiful. But guess what? So are you. Guess what? So are you. Guess what? So are you. That's just a good example. Sometimes we're lost, but we find our way. And Brian then joined the band.
Welcome, everybody.
You gotta close that mic.
Yeah, right on the mic.
It won't work.
How about this one? There we go. A little more mic help.
You gotta be on.
So, thank you for being understanding. It's my first time, but I know I have a friendly audience, so that's great. My name is Brad Fanger. Welcome to Unity on the River. We are an inclusive spiritual community, and we honor all paths to God. I'd like to welcome the new people. Is there anybody who's worshiping here with us for the first time today? If you would, please raise your hands. We have a welcome packet for you. We have one right there. Thank you very much. Robert. Someone will be by to give you a welcome packet any second. Let's all wave to the live streamers. Hello, everybody. Just a reminder, you can live stream us on YouTube, either live or recorded, and on Facebook. Unity on the River is a center of celebration, transformation, inspiration, spirit-centeredness, oneness, and joy. Please hold these truths in our hearts as we say our mission and vision statements for ourselves and the world. We are a spiritual community that celebrates the presence of all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And our vision? Centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. And our vision for the new minister? The spiritual leader of Unity on the River is a heart-centered, inspired teacher and mentor who lovingly embodies the highest and most joyful vision for Unity on the River and the whole world. We know that this vision is already established in divine mind. We pray that we, as a congregation, can embody the vision we have set forth. We must be the vision we want to see. And I just want to say it's an honor for me to be able to facilitate here in my spiritual home. Unity on the River has been a huge blessing to me. It's provided so much. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to expand the ways in which I participate in this awesome community. Now it's time in our service where we greet each other in love by saying Namaste. I see the light in you. Please ask if a hug or a handshake is appropriate.
Tired and weary, and your good heart has been broken from the sorrow in this world that you know. Well, you have cried a million tears, and their salt could fill an ocean. So I will reach out my hand to you in your darkest hour. Will come away to a place of gentle kindness. Will come away to a peaceful place you've known. Will come away to a place where all's forgiven. There's a home for your heart, and it's waiting for you here. So come away to a place of gentle kindness. Come away to a peaceful place you've known. Will come away to a place where all's forgiven. There's a home for your heart, and it's waiting for you here. There's a home for your heart, and it's waiting for you here.
Wow, that's beautiful, isn't it? So now I have the honor of introducing our speaker, Stephanie Roy, which they always say she needs no introduction because she's been with us for 25 years, but we do have a new person here, so, and if I don't say it, I'll be fired, so here we go. With a rich, lifelong interest in all things spiritual, she delivers a powerful message. Stephanie practices as a transpersonal psychotherapist and provides workshops and retreats designed to explore and navigate the inner landscapes. Her talk today, working on our theme for 2023, is titled Exploring the Body Part of Christ Consciousness. Please, everybody, welcome Stephanie Roy.
Good morning. You know, the real title for my talk is, Where You From, You Sexy Thing? Let me get my timer going so I don't go over. And I chose that because our theme for the whole year is embodying Christ consciousness. So the only way to embody Christ consciousness is to actually be in a body. And everybody who's got one of these spacesuits, and they're spacesuits because we are traveling around in space, everybody who got one of these, there had to be sex happening somewhere in order to get one, right? So no sex, no bodies. So one of the very first things that happened, not just in the early Christian church, but in almost all faiths, is that there came to be a separation between sexuality and spirituality. So that spirituality was looked at as the high and the good, and that sexuality was looked at like the earthy and the animal. And we made this separation that's just, even in this culture, we get witchy about sex. So I wanted to say, where are you from, you sexy thing? Because looking at how conception began, I think is important in terms of the metaphysical analogies. I think that there's some connections between how we began and how the universe began. So we began in two separate places. One place was an egg, big egg, coming down the tube, happy. And then another place, I looked it up, like 40, 50 million sperm get shot out of this cannon. There's this huge explosion. There is, in fact, a big bang, right? And they're on a journey. They're looking for something. They don't know what it is, but they'll know it when they see it. They finally see it, and it's like, oh, yeah. And they're after that, and there's this powerful urge to merge with this happy egg coming down the road. And I'm trying to think, what would you be like if you were an egg? What? Thank you. If you were an egg and you look down the pipe and you see 40 million. So real life is sometimes like that. It's like, oh my word. So what happens though, and I know this because a million years ago when I was thinking I wanted to be a midwife, I studied microbiology and anatomy and physiology. And at the head of every sperm is this little, it's like a helmet, it's this little acid thing that's designed to break into the surface of this huge egg. Because by comparison, the sperm are little tiny things and the egg is huge. So they all swarm all around until one of them, sometimes two, sometimes three, but they're all working on it together. One of them actually penetrates the surface of the egg, and the electrical charge of the egg changes, and all the other sperm are repelled. I mean, it's miraculous, and it's astonishing, but what happens then, the fertilized eggs begin to do exactly what it says in Genesis. Let there be light. It said the earth was void without form. This word comes in, let there be light. Boom, things start to separate. The light separates from the dark. The dry land separates from the wetland. Inside the egg, things start to separate. It goes from 2 to 4 to 8. And that's how we get these amazing human bodies. I wanted to read you, hang on a second, let me put my glasses on. Oh, before I do that, back to the place where almost all religions have separated spirituality from sexuality. I was just speaking with Lee. Where are you? So Lee, just in this little conversation right before church, he said, guess what I read in Course in Miracles?
So I read daily in A Course in Miracles, and one of the scholarly things that we ran into is that in the original editing, about 50,000 words were removed from this book. And this morning we read that 3,300 of those words were about sex, and it was specifically something that Jesus had asked Helen to leave in. It was written in her notes. But it wasn't until these were published and put in the Library of Congress that we found this. And so in the 70s, 1972, when it was published, really kind of apropos probably to remove all of that through editing. But what we found later on is that when the world was ready, the information was right there for us. And so the new version that was published by the Circle of Atonement group that's in purple includes all those 50,000 words. And it's got these essays that talk about different things. And this discussed that. And it was just fascinating to watch how Jesus guided her.
Yeah. Actually, the sexiest book in the Bible is the Song of Solomon. And I have heard that in the Jewish tradition, they weren't even allowed to study it until they were in their mid-30s, because it was so sexy. Okay? But that's also true of us in our evolution of spiritual growth, that sex comes online at adolescence. So we start by two people having sex. We get this body. It grows, it develops, it spends 9 months getting ready to come out. Then this is apocalypse. then we come out, and then we spend another, 11 to 15 years coming into sexual maturity, and then we're able to reproduce. So you can see where the analogies are there in terms of where we go spiritually and where we go metaphysically. That it's a process, and that everybody's on their own timeline, and you don't know where anybody's timeline is. So I wanted to read this. This is one of my, I sent this to Patty Barkas, in fact, she loved it. It's called, this is Rumi, no, this is actually Hafiz. But the Persian poets, they are called the ecstatic mystics because they're always talking about how the relationship with God, about the love of God, about the ecstasy, he's referred to, or she's referred to as the friend, as the beloved. But this is called the barroom view of love. And by the way, the ecstasy is often associated with being drunk with love. Like Hafiz says, why aren't we all screaming drunks with the love? Like, the love the kind of God has for us. So here's the barroom view of love. And I'm doing this on purpose because I want us to get comfortable with the real bodily, messy, juicy, throbbing. We don't want to just have concepts of God. We want to embody God. We want to have a direct experience of God. And you can't have a direct experience if you're not in your body, right? So here's the barroom view of love. I would not want all my words to parade around this world in pretty costumes. So I will tell you something of the barroom view of love. Love is grabbing hold of the great lion's mane and wrestling and rolling deep into existence while the beloved gets rough and begins to maul you alive. True love, my dear, is putting an ironclad grip on the soft, swollen balls of a divine rogue elephant and not having the good fortune to die. The French term for orgasm, or one of the euphemisms for it, is le petit mort, the tiny death. That it's at that moment, and the metaphysical meaning here is so powerful for me, it's powerful. Jesus' prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane was, Father, let them be one with me in the same way that I'm one with you. And what happens when that big wave of erotic energy comes between people? I want to be one with you. The man is saying, I want to be in you, or that's the masculine principle. The feminine principle is, I want you in me. There's this longing to be one. That's what unity is. Unity is remembering that we're all one, that there's a longing to be one with the divine. And as we connect with this longing to be one with the divine, we're in a much better position to remember, and I'm moving into the next part of my talk, to remember that we are all part of something much bigger. We're different parts, but we're all one part. So, the body is sexual. The body is also a model for unity. One idea that I had a while ago is that the major faiths in the world, and I'll just say the 5 major faiths, which are Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, and Christianity. There's many more than that, but those are kind of like the major faiths. I always think that they're like the major organs in the body, like the brain, the heart, the lungs, the liver, the kidney. If somebody said to me, what do you want to do? You want to just be a brain? Or do you want to do without your liver? It's like, no, I want them all. They all have different jobs. They're all very different, but they're all part of this one thing. So in Unity on the River, Unity began in the late 1800s with Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, but they were transcendental Christians. Christianity was their faith organ. Christianity is my faith organ. I was raised Catholic, then I became a Baptist, and then I became a Unitic, and now I'm just, I'm like whatever denomination God is, that's the denomination I'll be. But my faith organ essentially is Christianity, and my native tongue is the Christian scriptures. If I were raised in India, my native tongue might be the Vedas, or what do they do in India? I wrote it down someplace, let's see. The Bhagavad Gita. If I were Buddhist, it might be the sutras. It would be the Torah if I were Judas. It would be the Quran if I were Islam. So the sacred scriptures are always coming through in your native tongue, but our native tongue is Christianity. So to me, that's important because it helps me to not be in the thing that always gets in the way of my loving one another, and that's judgment. The thing that keeps me separate all the time, that tempts me to make me different than you, is my judgment. And the whole message of unity is that we are one. But unity has never meant uniformity. If we want a model for how the world could be, I mean, we come here and we pray, we practice, we remember, but the purpose of that is to bring more and more light onto the planet, right? Because the planet has some places that look to us like they're pretty dark. The human body, all these different parts, if the human body operated like the economies in the world, the lungs would be going, oh, you want oxygen? Pay up. You want us to clean the water from the kidney cells? It's not for free. You want us to keep the toxins out of the blood? The liver's going, hey, But the body doesn't operate like that. The body is the model of how, if we were really living, if we were embodying the Christ consciousness of being one, we would be on the planet the way the body is on the planet, which is, it is cooperative, it's communicative, it's collaborative. It's all, when something goes wrong in my body, all the other cells, all the other parts, all the other organs are like, what can we do? How can we help? The platelets come, if there's a tear, the platelets come and, clot the blood. This is a book I'm reading now that I think is really good. It's called Matter and Desire. Subtitle is An Erotic Ecology. And it's really taking this same idea that the energy of eros, the energy of love, the energy of sexuality isn't specific to human beings, and it's certainly not genitally specific, that it is an energy that goes through the whole universe. And if we are going to be alive and vibrant as walking as beings on the earth, we need to have a full yes to that energy, including it showing up in our bodies. So that when we have disagreements, as we will, when we have conflicts, as we will, that the model for us is to be communicating with each other, cooperating with each other, collaborating with each other, honoring each other, the way the different parts of the body are honored. Now, finally, I want to talk about the body, I put it this way, as a navigational instrument. In Genesis, it says, God formed clay, breathed life, and we started living. Now, we all know that that first breath comes usually at birth with air, and the last breath comes at death. Those are the only times we don't do the full inhale, exhale. Okay? So, this body is that interface between the infinite and the finite. So we go in the world in the consciousness of God. Well, actually, we work on the consciousness of God, but nothing is here that isn't here with the God energy. Jackie refers to it as the animating life force. So you can trust this instrument to give you information about the next right thing to do, about what's wisdom and what's foolishness for you. Not for everybody, but what's true for you. In my field in psychology, there's a couple of books. One is called The Body Keeps the Score. There's another one, I think it's Alice Walker who says the body doesn't lie. So you can trust your physical body in a way that you actually cannot trust your mind. Because your mind is full of stories, full of ideas, full of concepts, could be right, could be wrong. But your body will almost always give you some cues about what's up. Anybody who's an energy worker, anybody who's a body worker, knows this very well. You might be working on somebody and all of a sudden they begin to weep. And then the memory comes up. Why? Because the body has held on to something that was too big for the psyche. But when it comes up, that's when you know, okay, now we can deal with it. Now I'm old enough. Now I'm strong enough. Now it's just time. The big feelings that come through for all of us: anger, fear, grief, shame, joy, passion. All of those feelings happen in your body. And in this culture, we're not really encouraged to do, especially anger, fear, grief. Well, women are given a lot of permission for grief and not so much for anger. Men are given a lot of permission for anger, not so much for tears. But the body knows how to take these big emotions that come up in us and actually metabolize them, integrate them, process them, and those big emotions are energy, and when they can move through, that's when healing happens. That's when you begin to grow and learn that you're not stuck holding on to something because you're afraid if you feel it, you won't survive it. Or if you feel it, someone will judge you. So one of the things I often invite people to do, because when I work a lot with trauma, people who have had trauma, including, and I do it because I had trauma in my own body. If you've had trauma in your history, you've already actually survived the hardest part. And usually all that's left to do is to feel it. And the only way to feel it is to be in your body. My teacher, Carol Judd, used to say, you can't heal what you can't feel. You won't feel unless you're in your body. You won't be in your body unless you breathe. So that brings me to the verse I'm going to close with. And let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. By the way, I learned this from Amy, one of Amy's talks. I want to thank you for your patience and your graciousness as we're pinch hitting. For the regular team isn't here today, so we're pinch hitting, and we appreciate very much your graciousness. Let me just make sure. Okay, the only other thing I wanted to say is, often when you get caught up in a memory, you get caught up in a story, you get caught up, to come back to present time, this is very classic, you just use all five senses. If somebody has just been through a big traumatic memory, for instance, and I want them to come back to present time because they have to get in a car and drive home, I say, what are you seeing right now? Tell me everything you see that's red. What are you hearing right now? What are you feeling in your body? So your five senses in your body are always a guaranteed way to bring you back to this present moment, to being back to being grounded. I mean, divine energy is like electricity, it's frequency. And this body grounds it on the earth and then manifests it, right? So don't forget to use your five senses when you get lost, when you're full of anxiety, just come back to right now, what's happening right now. Because our minds tend to always run in the back with regret or remorse, or run forward with fear and anxiety. And that's why be here now, and all of the new thought kind of invites you to be in this present moment. So the other thing I want to invite you to do is go into your Bible and read 1 Corinthians 12. I could have done the whole talk on 1 Corinthians 12, which talks about the different gifts, the spiritual gifts given to the church, and he compares them to the different parts of the body. The hand doesn't say to the eye, you're not part of the body. So read 1 Corinthians 12, that's awesome. But this is from 1 Corinthians. This is actually from 2 Corinthians, and I'm going to close with this. God has made us competent as ministers of a new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. This is so important, the difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. The letter gets solid. The letter doesn't move. All the metaphors for spirit in Scripture, wind, fire, water, rivers of living water, it's all things that are moving. And the Spirit is in present time, always, always, always. So even as we live into the basic principles of unity, we want to make sure that we are not doing the letter of unity, but the spirit of unity. Because anything alive will change. Anything alive will evolve. I mean, I'm 34 years sober, and the AA that is around today doesn't look like the AA I started with, and doesn't look like the AA that began in 1945. The country that we live in is alive and well. Why? Because we no longer have slaves and women can vote. I mean, anything that's alive will change and morph and grow. If it stays the same, it's probably not alive. So I want to invite us all to be in that mind, to be in that awareness, and to fully be in our bodies so that we can embody the consciousness of Christ in the moment, in the present time. That's how we'll know how to respond to anything, not by what the rules were, but by what the Spirit is telling you in the instrument of your body in that moment. And so it is.
So we're going to move into a time of meditation. In the silence I shall go. In the stillness there's a knowing. In the presence of divine love, I am loved, I am love. Shemaya, 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 Shemaya.
Bringing your attention to your breath. Noticing how it feels as it enters your body, as it leaves your body. Bringing your attention to each cell of your body. Notice the energy. Notice the aliveness. Notice the frequency of the divine animating your body. You are the dwelling of the Most High God. We are the Word made flesh. This place of stillness is where it's easy to remember. This quiet, this moment, we're invited to be still and know. Be still and know. So let us all be still for a few moments in the quiet.
In the silence I shall go. In the stillness there's a knowing. In the presence of divine love, I am loved. I am love. Shemaiah, 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 Shemaiah. In the silence I shall go. In the stillness there's a knowing. In the presence of divine love, I am love. I am loved. Shemaiah, 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 Shemaiah.
Okay. It is time for our tithes and offerings. For that time when we give you the opportunity to benefit from tithing. So we give thanks in advance for all the ways you choose to invest in this spiritual community. Let's hold our tithes and breaths and our energy and abundance as we affirm together. Divine love has me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
I got everything that I need to be happy. I got food, I got friends, I got my community. I got the birds in the morning and the great blue sky. I've got my heart beating songs and singing. I'm doing my best Meg impression. I got everything that I need to be happy. I've got nothing if I don't have myself. And I'm not grateful for all God's graces. What good is money? What good is wealth? I got everything that I need to be happy. I got love, I got laughter, I got laughter after my sanity. I got a bed made up of some really cool people, and I got Steph giving a great talk today, and I got a lot of good things in my life. I don't know about you, but I got everything that I need. I got everything that I need. I got everything that I need to be happy. Oh yeah.
I took my mic off. Ah, beautiful Holy Spirit, we just thank you for the generosity, for the joy, for the love, for the vibrant energy coming into these tithes and offerings. And we see them circulating, just like all the nutrition in the blood circulates through the body. We see this circulating out wherever it is most needed and multiplied again and again, and so it is. So it is.
Okay, so the announcements. Actually, first of all, I want to acknowledge, let's acknowledge this music team here. Thank you very much. The choir. Mark Rosen, our communication. Thank you. Dan, operations. I'd like to acknowledge the board members, if you could stand up. There's a few others besides myself. I want to mention that this is February, which means that some of the members have timed out and will be stepping down, which creates opportunities for others to have this wonderful experience. And it is truly a wonderful experience. So if you're so moved, let us know. Talk to Mark or I. And if you don't come to us, we'll find you. So I'd like to also mention there's prayer chaplain. So Mark, right there, if you want to pray, Mark is there for you. Remind you that hospitality is being offered, and that's downstairs right after the service. And for the announcements, I want to remind you that Reverend Peter Tenaglia spoke as a ministerial candidate. You can view his service and the workshop he provided on the Unity YouTube channel. So if you were not here, you can see it. If you were here, you can see it again. We're asking that everybody fill out a quick survey online to help us and letting us know what you think. The survey link is on our homepage of our website, unityontheriver.org. Yes? Right, so the deadline is today at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So please do that before, that's 5 o'clock Eastern time.
Just in case.
Okay, and at the annual meeting, we'll be talking about the candidates. There'll be a section at the annual meeting, we'll be talking about that.
When is the annual meeting?
The annual meeting is February 26th. Okay? That's 3 weeks from now, I believe. Two or three. It's on the calendar. I'm sure you all have a calendar app. There's an app for that. So, all right. Annie, you wanted to say something real quick?
It's February, and February is Valentine's month, and next week I'm going to bring some Valentine making supplies and would love it during coffee hour if anybody wants to join me with doilies or scissors. Come celebrate one another and being alive. Thanks.
So, Martine Bernard will be giving the service then. And then on the 19th, it'll be Jackie Woodside. I do want to remind you that we have wonderful volunteer opportunities, helping out in hospitality, for example, greeters and ushers, youth services. We can have services for our children again. A volunteer coordinator to help all that come together. You can see any board member, Stan, or staff if you're interested. And finally, for the streamers, it's quick and easy to tithe at the unityontheriver.org website. We don't want to leave you guys out of that opportunity. You can use a credit or debit card, so thank you very much for that.
Good job, Brad. It's hard to be comfortable in front of a microphone. I get very nervous myself.
As do I.
Yes. Right, Chipley? I'm always so nervous. I'm shaking.
Being nervous.
I get all hyped up from coffee.
In the water, the children and Moses land, and God's gonna trouble. Come on and wait. You gotta wait, you gotta wait in the water. Don't you know you gotta wait in the water? 'Cause God's gonna trouble. Come on and wait. You gotta wait in the water. Don't you know you're gonna trouble? God's gonna trouble. God's gonna trouble the water.
Sister Plumley.
Aren't you guys glad to have bodies to dance in?
So let's all join hands if you're up for that, and sing our sing our song of peace, followed by our prayer.
Nervous, aren't you?
I'm so nervous. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment, peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we are richly blessed.
Come incredible miracle, a dream come true. Marvelous, I'm beautiful. Guess what? So are you. I'm amazing. I'm incredible. I'm a miracle, a dream come true. I'm marvelous. I'm beautiful. Guess what? So are you. Take it, Mike. amazing. I'm incredible. I'm a miracle, a dream come true. I'm marvelous. I'm beautiful. Guess what? So are you. Guess what? So are you. Guess what? So are you.